IG's turn to ban. LGD's turn to ban. IG's turn to ban.
Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to the Sina Cup. I'm just going to make sure that everything is sorted out. As I said in chat, guys, the stream probably has gone down at least once at this point, just because we had local delay and Twitch side delay. But it should all be sorted out by the time that you guys are hearing this. So welcome back to the Sina Cup. I'm Baseskip. I'm going to be solo for this first game. My co-caster Winter is stuck in traffic at the moment, so he'll hopefully be home pretty soon, and he'll be joining me for game 2 onwards, and we've also got a best of 1 to wrap up the evening as well. So welcome, guys. I'm Baseskip here, providing coverage on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and this is LGD China versus Invictus Gaming. It's one of your semi-final best of 3s for the upper bracket portion of this competition. Winner is going to advance to the winner bracket finals, and the loser is going to be dropping down to face at least one, I think 2 more rounds of best of 1s to try and fight their way out. So bit of a tricky situation if they do end up there, but still have the whole series to get through, guys, before we get anywhere close. So IG, actually starting us off with the first ban on the Venomancer. LGD are going to respond by getting rid of the Elder Titan, and it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. IG have been running some really all-in strategies recently. We've seen How going for that safe lane Viper, Russia mech, they group up, they 5-man. And it's a similar style to what LGD often do. They get a bit of an advantage from the laning stage.
LGD's turn
they know
to
that they're
ban.
ahead, they 5-man their way, well, they deathball their way through the rest of the game. I'd expect to see maybe a little bit more deathballing from the Dire side in these series, just because it's an advantage that with only a minor lead you can continuously capitalize on. But
10 seconds remaining.
yeah, this is... that would be my general thoughts
5
as we
seconds
move
remaining.
in here. I'm just going to get rid of another support in the Crystal Maidens, so it looks like we are going to have at least
Reserve
one of
time.
Timbersaw or Clockwork making it through. We have also seen some teams banning the Viper pretty heavily against IG, so we'll see what LGD China have planned for the rest of this draft. Are there any other notices? Are there any other announcements? A couple of people were asking me in chat about a
IG's
LAN
turn
that's
to
coming
pick.
up. It's a LAN that's being held in Melbourne. It's the Team Immunity Dota 2 Masters. The
LGD's
Team Immunity
turn to
Masters.
pick.
You should be able to Google it based on that. And Gods and I are going to be casting. It's just a one-day finals. Should be a fun LAN event.
LGD's
Not sure
turn
exactly
to
where it's
pick.
going to be streamed just yet, so those details are probably still on their way. But yeah, for anybody who's in the area, I encourage you to come down and check it out. So just gonna have the Alchemist band out from LGD to wrap up the bands. And neither the Timbersaw nor the Clockwork is going to be picked up to start things off. IG opting for the Visage, and LGD, interestingly enough, are just going to get their hands on the Rubik.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
And LGD will already be dipping into their reserve time. So neither team is really committed so much as far as the draft is concerned just yet. Pretty much just support pickups. And it'll be interesting because we do have these opportunities for the early game
IG's
all-ins.
turn
We've
to
seen
pick.
Pugna strats. Even just something like DK plus Luna can be great to have. So
IG's
LGD
turn
do
to
manage to
ban.
cover their Rubik pick a little bit. Well, cover their Clockwork pick a little bit by grabbing the
LGD's turn
Rubik.
to ban.
IG just continue to stack on the burst damage by grabbing a Timbersaw. So again, nothing too surprising just yet as far as the draft is concerned. IG maybe with the beginnings of
10
a slightly
seconds
stronger
remaining.
aggressive tri-lane, or just a slightly stronger tri-lane in general from the Visage.
5 seconds
The
remaining.
Timbersaw, well, he's on the Radiant side. He's probably going to have a fine time, and expecting him, at least for the time being,
Reserve
just to
time.
be on your off lane. Same kind of story for the Clockwork. So mid lane is still kind of open, though it looks like both teams are going to be focusing on the carries so
IG's
far.
turn
So
to ban.
Gyrocopter banned out. We've got the Lifestealer removed as well. I am maybe a little bit surprised to see the Nakes banned out. I think IG have run it a little bit of late, but I don't know. I feel that there are enough
10
ways to
seconds
deal with the Nakes that unless the draft plays out in a particular way, he's not normally that well set up. I mean, if you want to try and set it up for a
LGD's turn to
second
ban.
round pick, You can get rid of, say, Naga and Razor and things like that. But the draft is still open enough at this point that I think LGD could have maybe dealt with a lifestealer if IG had tried to take it. IG just going to be getting rid of the fast push Pugna. And LGD also getting rid of the Dragon Knight to set themselves up for a Weaver. So, really nice pickup. IG don't have much in the way of lockdown for it just yet. They can't pick up the Rubik. Their secondary support, the Visage, already doesn't have a stun. So, well, it does have the familiar drops, but aside from that, they don't really have any way to deal with this. And we'll see how IG choose to respond. There's still plenty of great ways to deal with a Weaver in the pool. There's still a Storm Spirit. There's still plenty of other options besides, but I think this is pretty well positioned here from LGD.
5 seconds remaining.
And for anybody wondering where the BTS guys are, so Gods is back in Australia. And I believe, I haven't actually talked to them recently to confirm this, but the BTS guys are still busy moving their studio. So the plan is to try and find a new space, a bigger space, one that isn't being shared with other people as well. I believe the previous studio was in a house with some, I believe they were sharing a house with Purge and maybe some other people as well. So right now they're apartment hunting and looking for a new space of their own. So hopefully they'll be back soon, guys, but that's why I'm here in the meantime. So IG just going to be picking up the Naga Siren. Okay against the Weaver, but still not really any kind of hard lockdown for him. So hopefully we might see them, well, they might be able to pick up something like a Puck. Any kind of silence would be fantastic as well, because right now it is looking like the Weaver's going to have a pretty easy time. He doesn't do very well 1v1 against the Timbersaw if it does end up panning out to that, but it seems a little bit unlikely given the way that the draft is going so far.
Reserve time.
And LGD, what do they go for here? Looking for a secondary support, still looking towards their mid. They've got pretty good initiation in the Clockwork already, and that's another reason why I am sort of surprised that IG go for the Naga Siren. I don't think it's particularly... It's good against Weaver, but not amazing, and also has a really hard time against Clockwork. And LGD, not feeling threatened by an aggressive tri-lane at all, are just going to end up picking up this Chen, so... IG now have to be a little bit careful about what they grab for mid. The Rubik Chen combo could be roaming around the map in the early game. Again, touched on the fact that they can't really leave the Weaver alone against the Timbersaw. If the Timbersaw gets even a slight level advantage against him, then Timber can quite easily pick up a solo kill, especially in the early stages of the game. So that is something to watch out for, and it's maybe a small thing to note about how much mobility this Rubik is going to have around the map in the early to mid game. So just looking for a mid for LGD to round things off. IG are going to go back for the Kunkka. So they at least have something now to take advantage of that Naga Siren setup that they do have with the song.
10 seconds
and I guess just looking for their carry at this point.
5 seconds remaining.
Not sure if another melee hero would be ideal, especially against the Clockwork. I mean, Kunkka is going to do alright. You can cleave off some creeps. You're by and large invested in your spells. You're not really too worried about getting up in the face of the Clockwork, but we've still got a couple of your premium ranged carries left in the pool. There is still a Luna, but again, that doesn't really help the lockdown problem against the Weaver. And there is also a Mirana, so perhaps an option here for IG. They've also got what could be an aggressive tri-lane with Visage, Timbersaw, and Naga Siren. It's a little bit unusual, but some teams do run the Timbersaw in an aggro try, and could be a good way to keep the Chen and the Rubik away from that mid lane, where Kunkka is quite honestly very susceptible to ganks. So, just the anti-mage ban for LGD. IG, what are they worried about here? There's still plenty of great pushing mids left in the pool. There's still, there's still your Shadow Shaman. There's still Death Prophet. So if LGD China really want to go all in on this pushing strategy, they definitely could look to do so. And the Storm Spirit ban, it's good against, it's good against Naga, good against Timber, but LGD instead are going to end up going for the Necro. Okay, so this is This is interesting, because now they've got both a Weaver and a Necrolite. Not 100% sure who's going to be run where. For the most part, when we've seen Necrolite recently, it's been as your one position. You farm up a super fast mech, you get some momentum going, and then you just pretty much 5-man the game out. It's a pretty reminiscent style for LGD, but this is not a hero that we've been seeing a lot of recently. And if he falls behind the burst damage from the Timbersaw and the Visage, then he's just going to be completely dead weight. I mean, Necrolite is 100% reliant on living for a really long time in team fights. Yes, he's going to be able to build a little bit more tankily, just because they have a Chen who's hopefully going to be able to get his hands on a mech, and hopefully get some levels to be able to back him up with the Hand of God. But as soon as this Necrolite starts getting bursted down in fights, which is going to be a problem, we're talking Kunkka, Visage, and Timbersaw, then I do worry a little bit about his long-term viability here. And yes, he helps you sustain pushes, but he doesn't actually really help you bring down towers. So they've only got Chen pretty much as far as that's concerned. IG are just going to go back for the Mirana, so I don't think any big surprises. They did need a ranged carry and needed a little bit more lockdown if they could get it for the Weaver. So the big question for LGD is how exactly they're going to lane this. Might just be seeing... Could even be offlane Weaver, Clockwork heading towards mid to try and deal with the Kunkka, and then defensive tri-lane comprising of the Necrolite, the Chen, and the Rubik. We do have Xiao handling the Necro right now, so it'll be interesting to see where this ends up going and how it ends up doing. But guys, welcome back to the Sina Cup. This is our semi-final, upper bracket semi-final, game 1 of a best of 3. I'm Baseskip, and this is IG versus LGD China. So over on LGD, we've got Rabbit, formerly known as Zhao Tuji. On the Weaver, we've got DD on the Chen, we've got DDC, Azure Rubik, we've got Yao on the Clockwork, and Xiao is going to be that Necrolite or the Necrophos. Meanwhile, on IG, making a pretty aggressive movement to start things off. I think likely trying to ward up the Chen's jungle a little bit. We've got Faith on the Naga Siren. How is going to be your Mirana YYF on the Timbersaw, Ferrari on the Kunkka, and Banana will be your Visage. So IG wouldn't mind a first blood if they can get it, wouldn't mind a couple of blocking wards. They are going to walk up the hill a little bit blindly here. Rabbit spots out the movement, and it looks like that's going to be it. So this observer ward is going to track the Chen. Not sure if LGD would have seen this go down. And do they have any sentries picked up? They do, in fact, over on DDC. So ward kind of gets pinged out. Faith actually ends up considering going back up onto the cliff there for a moment.
The battle begins.
They're just going to be camping out the 0-minute rune, which is, in fact, going to spawn bottom. Xiao can be able to get his hands on that one. But right now it's looking like Clockwork is heading mid. They're going to leave Necro 1v1 bottom lane against the Timbersaw. And IG have chosen to run this aggressive tri-lane up on top to try and get some pressure down on the Chen. So both teams get a little bit of information out early, and looks like both of them are fairly content with how these laning matchups are going to play out. Clockwork versus Kunkka, not going to be that great for Ferrari, but should still hopefully be able to scrape together some farm. We've got the Sentry Ward already thrown down on top lane. They get the net out onto Rabbit. Is he going to get arrowed up? 4 seconds to start things off. They need some more Soul Assumption charge, however. Rabbit very low, and will just be brought down. Too much Shikuchi cooldown for him to end up surviving. So, IG, first blood. Things looking pretty good. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Xiao is managing to zone out YYF with this double damage, but not going to last a whole lot longer. He did end up going for the first point in the Heartstopper aura here, so looks like he should be alright to just continuously chip away at the Timbersaw. This is the right way to play your Necrolite 1v1s. Sadist isn't super helpful for you early, and it just helps you get an advantage slowly but surely, really. Ferrari's doing a great job on mid, 6 for 0 so far, up against the 4-0 of Yao, and the creep wave is just kind of all over the place. Ferrari is going to get bounced back, but looks like he's going to be fine, and looks like he should end up getting his bottle just a little bit faster. And Rabbit has still been completely unable to approach the creep wave top. DDC is trying to hold his hand, trying to set up a little bit of CS. DD is also just sitting here off to the side, but and Kunkka gets cogged in mid lane. Ferrari in some trouble, and Yao will be able to finish him off as he reaches level 3. Okay, so Kunko was doing alright in terms of CS, but this is always the danger of melee hero versus a clockwork. He cogs you and you just straight up die. So Ferrari, that is going to end up slowing down his bottle, and yeah, Yao is actually going to have his being brought out right this second. Touching base on the bottom lane. I actually want to see how this plays out. It's not a matchup that I'm familiar with at all. Necrolite is not a hero that we see a whole lot of. So he's sitting at 9 for 4 right now. Timbersaw's at 5 for 3. What kind of build do we have from Xiaowei? Just boots first for him. Might end up just going towards treads. Could even see some phase boots. He's doing a really good job of zoning out YYF entirely. Despite YYF having both a stout shield and 2 points in reactive armor so far. And DD, Wildkin's going to end up eating the arrow for him after the net. So it looks like he's going to end up being just fine. And actually sends the Wildkin all the way back to base. So pretty big mana investment there, though. Is going to end up denying them the golden experience. And a little bit of action happening on top lane. Rabbit again. Looks like arrow connected. DDC able to walk away with half of his life, but IG just continue to completely shut down the Weaver. He's got 4 CS so far. That's his second death, and does he not even have enough gold to TP out? No. So Rabbit's gonna have to walk all the way back out to the lane. And IG, I think, still fairly content with the trades. Ferrari is still completely dominating the CS on mid, despite having that 1 death. And Timbersaw is getting his levels. And again, I'm not sure how worried the IG side are about this Necrolite. They've definitely got the burst damage to deal with him, and the backup for the Necrolite to survive through that burst was always going to be the Chen, but DD is only level 2 right now. So the fact that this aggressive tri-lane was the choice from IG is really slowing down his early game, and I think even if Xiaowei does well, he might even have to be the one to look towards the mech at this point, since he's the only one in this team really doing anything in terms of overall farm. It's going to be a regen rune down on bottom lane. We've got both of our melee mids going for it. Ferrari going to connect a nice torrent, but deciding that even that's not enough to risk being cogged in with a level 5 clockwork. So just going to give that up. Bottle Crow's going to run back to base. And looks like he's going to just continue to CS on the mid lane. And right now, actually have not even a smoke movement from Faith. And Banana just heading over towards the middle lane. Ferrari has almost reached level 6. Does already have 2 points up in X, so might be able to get some initiation down here on Yao. Rubik, unable to carry a TP just yet. DDC's managed to reach level 3, and he's grabbed some boots, but we'll see. Yao suspects that something is up. Xiaowei, well, he's on full life, he's got his treads, but he's just hightailing it all the way back to base right now. So it looks like he thought that maybe he was the target of the gank there. DDC and DD moving in with the smoke, but IG supports patiently waiting behind 430, and he's got the boat up now as well, so Coco's Rum might be a bit of a problem here. Yao has the hook shot. We are on the brink of an engagement here mid lane, but both teams not wanting to get initiated on. DDC, the hookshot misses, they get the net out. He's in some trouble, in comes the arrow, it's not going to end up connecting, but the boat flies out. Actually whiffs on both, soul assumption damage on top of Xiaowei. House jumped in as well with the Starstorm, the Chakram flies through. But ends up being no kills whatsoever for either team, as we have 9 heroes converge. The only person who wasn't too interested in participating was Rabbit on top lane, and he's just quite happily grabbing a little bit of farm. Managing to catch up at least to the Timbersaw in terms of CS. So, a bit anticlimactic on mid guys, but both teams played that fairly well. Not sure what ended up soaking the arrow from How. Looked like it was heading straight in towards Rubik, but looks like maybe duration on the net, not quite long enough. So, IG just gonna split up again. How heads top lane with Faith. DD has actually made his way over into the Radiant jungle right now to maybe try and put a little bit of pressure on the Timber. DDC actually swings down bot, so they've got a bit of musical lanes being played right now, but as far as the lead is concerned, it's a pretty decisive 1k gold lead in favor of IG, though pretty much dead even in terms of experience after everybody was just hanging out mid and not really getting up any farm. But DD still has nothing. Does he have anything on the courier? He's got some boots, but that's about it. DDC managing to snag some levels on bottom lane. Xiaowei, what is he building in towards? Did end up going back for the treads, just has a magic wand right now. Is the most farmed hero on the map, but again, I don't know if the pace of the game is really favoring the Necrolite right now. And even their late game option, the Weaver, while he is catching up, not having the best time. And IG's lineup is amazing for the mid game. They've got great mid game team fight. They've got reasonable late game as well with the kind of farm that their Kunkka and their Mirana are getting. And again, I just don't know if they're worried about the Necrolite. They can just throw a boat at him, throw a Soul Assumption at him, and if he doesn't survive through that, then I think teamfight is pretty much already over, even if they've invested that many spells. The damage output from LGD, if you don't have the Necrolite alive, is severely lacking. So, 2 hero movement up towards the top lane. Yao's got another hook shot ready to go. Trying to find a kill, but IG kind of back off at just the right moment, and looks like they suspect that there's a ward, and Yao actually just going back for the rune here. Are they going to keep on trying for this? There isn't actually an IG ward. Faith is just playing pretty defensively. He's only level 4 right now. Hao sitting at level 5. More heroes moving top lane. If you look at the Radiant Vision right now, this is very suspicious. There are a lot of heroes missing from lanes. Faith pings out the big camp, so has an idea that somebody is over there farming it, and he's just going to back out. Leaves Hao to try and grab a little bit of safe farm, but looks like this gank from LGD is going to end up being unsuccessful. They had a little stack to clear here, but don't know if that was really what they were looking for at the end of the day. And all the while, IG, well, they've been getting a little bit of farm. They're all kind of worried that the gank is heading towards them, but still getting somewhere at the very least. And YYF quite happily catching up on bottom lane. Already has his Arcane Boots finished, and he's about to reach level 9 as well. So DDC lifted on top lane. Yao, can he line up this hook shot? I think he's waiting for the leap, but Hao still holding on. In comes the hook. Patience from Yao, very nicely done. LGD, another notch on the board. 2 for 2 so far. Gold probably going to swing down a little bit. IG, 3 heroes moving top. They've got 2 points in the X. They're looking to set up on Rabbit right now. Can they combo him down? The boat needs to land. It will do so. And Ferrari pretty much all by himself picks up that kill. YYF joins the fray as well. They get the net down along with the Chokum. They can wait out the Cog's duration as well. And Ferrari with another Torrent. LGD lose 2 on top lane.
Radiant's bottom tower
Well,
is under
IG,
attack.
not too much of a response. Hao's just going to jump bottom lane to deal with Xiaowei, who is in fact going back for this mech. Things have not gone as planned with the Chen. DD just boots a 900 gold to his name right now.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So, LGD at this point, it is pretty typical for them to start 5-manning. It might just be 4-manning. Rabbit does definitely need to sit top lane and grab a little bit of additional farm. Yao makes his way bot. He's got another hook shot ready. Lands it on top of Hao, but he might just be able to leap and pop the Moonlight Shadow. Do they have some anti-invis? They get the Reaper Scythe down and will still be able to pick up this kill.
Is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yao
attack.
didn't get denied on top lane that kill. Finds Hao again bot. Picks up one more. And all the while, Rabbit has been catching up fairly well on
Radiant's
top lane.
bottom
YYF
tower
is going
is
to make
under
his way up
attack.
there to try and apply a little bit of pressure, but well, if LGD wanted to 5-man, this might be the time. Well, at least 4-man, this might be the time. They've got their mech up, and we'll see if IG are going to try and take these team fights head on. Hao still needs to grab a little bit more farm after those back-to-back deaths. Rabbit showing kind of why you can't lane that well against the Timbersaw as the Weaver. It just bursts you down. Rabbit has gone back for a bottle here, so might be seeing a BKB build out of him. I think they do still need to take advantage of the early to mid game strength of the Necrolite if at all possible. So, 3 heroes. Do we have a smoke? No. Does Xiaowei have a smoke? No. Is there a smoke on the courier? Yes. So LGD, the line is drawn. They're going to be looping around looking for a pickoff here. Rabbit just gonna back off top lane, Ferrari and Faith. A little bit suspicious from them, and How about to be the target of another gank bot. Doesn't have the Moonlight Shadow up. Leap is on cooldown as well. This is pretty much just death for sure. And Yao is even playing this as if How might have Leap, but he doesn't. Pops the stick charges, Zhao 8 comes in, couple more right clicks, and we'll be able to pick up that kill. A couple of nice familiar drops. Slow down LGD a little bit, but looks like they're just going to be able to 5-man their way to a tier 1 tower. Banana just going to continue farming away over on mid. And Faith and Ferrari finally give up the gank top lane. Are going to try and turn this into a trade. There is a dire fortification available. Radiant fortification ready as well. And are going to actually end up popping this just to stall things a bit. LGD might even still be able to defend on top lane. If they have mass TPs ready. No, Yao heads over mid. Zhao 8 not interested in heading top, just going to be TPing towards the mid lane. So it's going to be a tier 1 for a tier 1 trade, but Dire didn't end up using their fortification in the exchange, and looks like LGD just going to continue 5-manning for the time being. DD's managed to catch up a little bit, he's got level 6, so eager to use a Hand of God in a team fight. Nice ward placed back behind the tower as well. A fairly likely smoke spot for IG. They do end up coming in a little bit later. How manages to find DDC on the back lines, connects the arrow, but looks like he's actually going to be the one in trouble. Leaps away, but the swarm still going to end up giving some vision. So Rabbit's going to finish off that kill. Zhao 8 grouped up with the rest of his team. A hook shot splits right down the middle of the IG lineup, but YYF gets hit by the Reaper Scythe. Looks like he is still going to end up surviving, but Faith forced to use the Song of the Siren there. And Ferrari not even interested in turning to try and throw a boat. It looks like IG just gonna lose How one more time and completely abandon this tier 1 tower. DDC, aggressive plays, but looking to see if they can set anything further up. Ferrari just picking up the drum, but they don't have the Song of the Siren to set up this fight. DDC continues to play super aggressive, but if you can throw somebody back into a Centaur Stomp, the Centaur's moving forward, he gets thrown back, there's the Stomp. Ferrari's in trouble, will he be able to throw the boat? Just gets it off, the Starstorm dropped as well. In comes the burst damage from the Timbersaw. YYF going to work. Zhao 8 in some trouble, about to be brought down. Timber Chain takes him a little bit closer to his tier 2 tower. Gets stolen by DDC. Ends up being 1-for-1 so far as LGD dive in deep. Arrow not going to end up connecting. And looks like LGD should just be able to get out of here. Tier 2 tower is still under question. 430's dead. 2 of IG's heroes have made their way all the way back to the fountain. And unfortunately, How doesn't have another arrow to try and go for the Weaver there. And DDC, can he just pick up this kill by himself? Tries for the Timber Chain in. Ends up connecting on a bit of an odd creep. How is going to be able to leap up, but still may be in some trouble. DDC on the hunt. Spots How, gets the lift. Timber Chain across for a little bit of extra damage. And just to grab the DD. But looks like How's going to be alright. IG hold on to the tier 2, but LGD giving them a bit of a taste of how potent their 5-man is at the moment. And Rabbit, despite the absolutely atrocious start, has managed to pick up 3 kills, and now he's the second most farmed hero on the map. So kudos to Zhao 2G there, and I guess kudos to LGD for the 5-man, played really well. DD's going to get caught out, netted, and bursted down. Banana going to be able to pick up that kill. So IG even things up on board. Gold about 1.5k in favor of LGD at the moment, and experience about 500, so not a whole lot there right now. TP coming in. Hookshot as well from Meow. Lets Zhao 8 land safely. How going to jump down onto the low ground, but he's going to be finished off by the Reaper Scythe. The boat flies in, but no real follow-up from IG. Faith is considering hanging around here as Ferrari and Banana get trapped between the tier 1 and tier 2. Banana still got a soul assumption. One more right click is going to finish off the Rubik. Can Ferrari escape? No, a beautiful cog from Yao. Gets him out of the TP. Ends up being a 3-for-1 with the tier 1 held there for LGD, and very nicely done. Should even be able to swing down mid and pick up this tier 2. And we're only 16 minutes into the game, guys. It's been pretty action-packed so far, but yeah, this is Necrolite in his element. There's still a tier 1 tower top as well to take, which is pretty much a freebie at this point. And IG, the biggest problem just seems to be that they haven't been able to take an organized team fight yet. We haven't had a combo dropped on anyone. We haven't had a song into a boat. It's just been good initiation from LGD. Yao finding the hookshot finding the hookshots that he needs to, and IG feeling like they're always down a hero after the Reaper's Scythe. How keeps getting picked off before any of these fights start. He got picked off over on the east before the tier 1 fight on mid, and then Ferrari. A little bit of questionable positioning, got lifted back into that Centaur Stomp, which ended up initiating a not-so-great fight for IG. They're just going to keep on 5-manning themselves, looking for this mid-tower, but yeah, with another hookshot in, it's on top of 2. Faith is going to drop the song, but the battery assault is still going to work along with the swarm. Banana wants out of here. The arrow comes in, but not the best coordination. The boat is on its way as well. DDC got his hands on the song if they want to set up here, and they will do so. Banana going to be focused down immediately. The rest of LGD on their way. Cog drop from Yao. The Fade Bolt as well. They pick up 2. YYF dead as well. Ferrari gets lifted. Did they have some anti-invis? Don't even need it. Rocket Flare from Yao is going to find that kill. Faith finds himself in the middle of no man's land. And LGD might even be able to stick around for a little bit of damage on the tier 3 here. And the one tier 1 tower that you do not expect to still be alive at this point in the game is still up on top lane. But
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
LGD, no interest in extra gold, no interest in extra farm. They're actually leading by 5k gold right now. 5k experience, just completely out team fighting IG at every turn. And heroes respawn, they're going to back off. They could quite easily head into Roshan if they wanted to. They've got max rocket flare now as well on Yao, which doesn't seem like a huge deal, but can just use it to keep a lane pressured out and then sneak yourselves into the pit. And IG, again, just the exact same maneuver. Nobody is splitting up to farm. Nobody is going to try and complete any additional items. They just want this tier 1 tower mid, but this could end up being a little bit of a mistake. DDC gets his hands on the Starstorm. Jawei taking this opportunity to grab some more farm, grab some more levels top lane. And Rabbit, well, almost has his Lincoln Sphere finished here. Yao threatens another hookshot, and IG are just going to head bot, but continuing to move as a group, realizing that one more bad team fight at this point could end up, well, it could potentially lose them a lane of Rax. It's more likely that it's just going to get them into a nearly unrecoverable position. I don't think we've gotten there just yet, but with the kind of momentum that LGD have behind them right now, not too surprising. Well, it wouldn't be too surprising to see it. And at this point, they could even just choose to farm, have Rabbit split push, and just try and keep IG pinned on their side of the map. Use a little bit of that extra gold to maybe pick up a fairly early gem. And IG, while they're kind of 5-manning like this, they're not getting nearly as much farm out. They will move in for this tier 1 tower bot. YYF is over on mid looking to deal with Rabbit, but that means that he can't be anywhere near this tier 1 bottom lane. And Rabbit could quite easily just Shikuchi away and TP, force the 4v5, and because of that, IG are just going to back off. They spent all of this time moving bot, but as soon as LGD heroes show up and there's even the threat of a hookshot from Yao, they're forced to just bail immediately. So LGD going to get lanes out again. Jawei has an Aghanim Scepter finished if he wants it. DDC, just a Bracer and some Arcane Boots right now, but not doing too badly. DD, what's he got? He's managed to pick up a Force Staff, so even if he doesn't have the mech to try and help out the Necro, might be able to clutch Force Staff him back and save him from a little bit of burst. And as we've seen previously, the Force Staff can be a great way to save people from the Kunkka combo as well. You can Force Staff people while they're torrented, so you can get them out of harm's way from the boat. And again, I think we come back to this question for IG, which is, the Necrolite is great if he doesn't get bursted down, and that's been exactly the case so far for LGD. Jawei has 1 death, 3 kills, 6 assists, and IG just seemingly haven't been able to find him in these fights. So LGD take another tier 2 tower for free. They're threatening tier 3s at 20 minutes in. Ferrari gonna drop the torrent, but not really landing on anyone important. Just gonna be able to clear out the creep wave. But IG have nobody split pushing. Everybody is just sitting here defending, and as soon as LGD realize it, they're just gonna back off, grab some farm by pushing out these lanes. And IG, can they get a smoke? Can they go and find a pickoff? Nobody is even carrying a smoke right now. They're just gonna parade out into their own jungle to see if they can maybe grab a little bit of farm. Might also be worried about the potential of Roshan, but at this point, map control for them is fairly minimal. And Hao still has very little. He's almost got a BKB, But that's about it. Despite how well the tri-lane went top, as soon as this Necrolite started going, and as soon as LGD started 5-manning, things just completely fell apart for IG. They have managed to stabilize the gold and the experience, but LGD probably just waiting around for some items. Are they actually close to anything? They just finished the Ags. They just recently finished the Lincoln Sphere as well, and who am I kidding? They're not farming, they're 5-manning. This tier 1 tower, top lane next on the chopping block. Ferrari is going to grab a little bit of farm mid. The Bloodstone's finished up for YYF. And looks like Ferrari also working his way towards a BKB at the moment.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
But Xiao just going to continue tanking up. He's got his cloak. We don't quite have the level 2 ult on the Chen just yet. The 5-man is kind of taking its toll on LGD as far as the levels are concerned, outside of the cores that have actually been farming. But IG, if they decided that this is their team fight, they've only really got maybe one song left to try and win a fight. Looks like they are going to maybe give away this tier 2 to try and grab a tier 1 on bottom lane. Fortification used by LGD. Yeah, Blade Mail finished, looking for a line on the hook, but TP goes bot, they won't even be able to grab the tier 1. An arrow from Hao also slightly off the mark. Okay, so at this point things are looking pretty bad for IG. Couple of nice team fights. Things could turn around. They've got a really good lineup for defending high ground. They've got plenty of spam. They've got a Timbersaw who's now got his rank 2 ultimate as well. So it is going to be a little bit difficult for LGD to get up there, but at this point they can just leave Weaver to split push top, head into the Roshan, pick up your Aegis, give it to whoever you want between the Necrolite and the Weaver, more than likely the Necro, and then maybe just start chipping away at high ground. If things start to go really badly, you can go for Necro strats or just fall back on your split push even further, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like LGD's style. Even when they had the option to 4-man and have the Weaver split push top, they just chose to bring Rabbit to the fights and have him benefit from being there. So LGD, what are we seeing here? Xiao just continuing to tank up. Heading towards probably a Shiva's right now. LGD go Roche, Faith would like to stop it if he can. YYF is on his way back as well. We do have the BKB finished up for Hao. Is this the timing? Could be. LGD spots some heroes over on mid lane. Do consider moving out for a moment, but just gonna keep on moving back into the pit. IG, again, pretty much one song left. It really has to work out.
Do it with flair.
They've got nothing to scout out the pit aside from illusions, which have already been cleared up. The familiars coming in as well. The torrent connects on 2, but Xiao already moving out. They're going to end up giving the Aegis to Zhao Tuji, interestingly enough. Oh, Faith. Gonna try for the TP out. Can they hookshot him? Looks like maybe not. Troll Trap not quite in time. But LGD, Aegis in hand, no objectives left to claim, not a whole lot of farm left to grab either. They're not all that close to too many items. They might finish up the Shivas on Xiao and maybe something on the Weaver as well, since he's already got 2.6k up. But aside from that, IG, clock is ticking. We haven't really seen any smoke movement from them at all. Even when, for example, we had LGD push in mid lane, and then they had heroes TP top and TP mid, I believe. Well, actually, no, they pushed in bottom lane, and they TP'd mid and top. IG didn't even make an attempt to smoke out and catch anybody. They just sort of sat back, accepted that they could continue farming, and continue to get out-farmed for the most part. 10k gold is the lead in favor of LGD, 7.5k experience. And Hao, what's he going for on mid? Glove of Haste picked up. Really hoping that it's just going to be a Maelstrom.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, initiation on mid. Hao gets caught out again. Farming out a little bit too far. Force Staff jump in from DDC, lift him up. Scythe him dead. You've got an Aghanim Scepter up as well, so even if Hao had buyback, and he was close, won't be able to get back into this fight. So LG know that they have 30 seconds guaranteed. Everybody is just rushing mid lane right now. Chakram's going to try and stall things out. They've got a fortification ready as well. DDC gets his hands on the Chakram. Ferrari keeps on cleaving. Hao's going to be up soon with his 10-second BKB charge ready. But LGD ready, chipping away. YYF playing dangerously. Zhao Wei doesn't have the Reaper Scythe up, so can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. Familiar stuns go down, but still no initiation from IG. They've got everybody up.
Thank you. Incoming.
And I don't know if they should wait for LGD to jump them first. If the Clockwork hooks the Naga sign, then this is probably all over.
Rock it on.
Okay, they lift up YYF, they get the net onto Zhao 8, but the arrow doesn't end up connecting YYF, already very low Hand of God going out. Rabbit diving deep, but he's still got this Aegis, looks towards YYF, who is able to jump back. The hook shot comes in from Yao. They pop the song. Hao will be able to leap back a little bit further to safety, but can they use this song to set anything up? The boat is flying in, the torrent goes out as well. LGD fairly heavily grouped up. DDC doesn't end up stealing anything else. Just gonna throw out the Chakram. Zhao 8 being bursted. The Soul Assumption comes in as well, but he continues to survive. Keeps on regenning up as well. Rabbit still up. Zhao 8, another pulse. Manages to stay up. DDC, he's stolen the boat. He's turning it around. It's 2 for 1 so far. Buyback from the Kunkka. LGD still just going strong. They finish off the tier 3. Ferrari with the buyback, trying to get back to this fight. But so they won't be able to catch anyone. LGD, only casualty is the Necro. And Rabbit, what's he got? 5k gold. Completed, well, Deso completed already. So IG throwing pretty much everything that they had into that fight. And still unable to walk away with a clean win. So we've got a gem picked up for the Visage. Banana seeing if they can secure themselves a little bit more farm, maybe one more item, maybe the BKB up on Ferrari. LGD didn't even end up losing the Aegis in that fight. Rabbit dove really deep, but just time-lapsed straight outside of the base, and
Boom, there it goes.
oh, they do manage to find Yao on mid lane. Not gonna. Oh, they do actually manage to get the arrow out. DDC turns around with the boat. Yao is still alive. Might be able to pop this regen rune as well. Right clicks into dispel, but looks like he's still gonna end up surviving. DDC continues to fight. DD walking in as well. They're gonna pop the Moonlight Shadow and try and disengage. Will they be able to? YYF being chunked by the Desolator damage from the Weaver. Banana Four staffs YYF instead. DDC still on the hunt. He's stolen the arrow. Can he connect this? YYF just barely gets out of the way. And LGD again find themselves in a very comfortable position, right in front of the mid racks. They've also managed to, well, they've just gonna put the Lincoln Sphere on Zhao 8 so he can get up onto the high ground. He's got his Shivas finished. Melee barracks next in line. We do have a Maelstrom finished up for Hao. Get a familiar stun down, but 50 seconds until a song. Rubik is throwing arrows at you. And LGD, no need to commit anything here whatsoever.
Dire's top tower is under
Faith
attack.
gets the net out on Rabbit. Is there any follow-up? Arrow comes in. It's going to connect, but he's still got this Aegis. And Zhao 8 just runs straight in with the Shivas. Scythes up Hao. Down he'll go. Mech's going to pop off. YYF gets lifted. Tries to run in to do some good burst damage. The Centaur stuns him up. Buyback from the Timbersaw, but Hao, no such luck. And LGD, one lane of racks about to go down. Everybody is seemingly unkillable because of the Necrolite. Arrow's going to connect. 3 seconds on YYF. They are going to force staff him a little bit further back. The boat flies in, connects on 3. Good torrent damage as well, but Rabbit still has this Aegis. Time-lapse out. Faith trapped in the cogs. He's going to be brought down. Yao finishes off Ferrari. And IG, they held on for as long as they possibly could, but LGD are going to end up taking the 30-minute GG in this game 1. With, admittedly, a bit of an unusual strategy. We haven't seen the Necrolite much, but they saw their opportunity. I was worried about how the laning stage was going to end up working out, but looks like they got the info from the start, scouted it out. Necrolite did fine against the Timbersaw 1v1, farmed up the fast mech, and then LGD played LGD Dota 5-man for the rest of the game. closed it out. So guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to be joined hopefully by Winter for the next game if he's around. This is a best of 3 again for the semi-final, the upper bracket semi-final of the Sina Cup's 2nd season. I've been Baseskip. It's been a pleasure joining you so far, and hope to see you for the next game.